Hello, everyone. Welcome, witches and ghouls. Today we have our Grimrose Academy episode 2. We have a lovely new witch joining us, and they are in the wrong spots. That's my bad. I will fix that. I got really excited for all of the things and messed up that one bit. But whilst I do that, we do have a lot of great things to share with you all. First and foremost, I will get through all of the goodies and then we'll kick things off. But let me get Allegri and them in this right spot. Everyone looks good. Yeah, we're good. So, first and foremost, we would like to thank our sponsor, Roll20. If you see all the magical rolling that's happening in chat, that is all through Roll20. All of our custom character sheets. If you watch our Thursday show, we have insane maps with lighting and madness, and that is all done through that. So if you like it, go check it out. There is also a link down below in our About section that says Roll20. If you click that and you make an account, that supports us. It doesn't really give us anything back, so don't think about that, but it does make our sponsor happy, which we like when sponsors happy. When sponsor happy, that means we're happy. It's like happy wife, happy life, happy sponsor, happy show. And of course, we have a new show coming to us. It is going to be Out of Control, which, you know, one shot named Out of Control, that just screams chaos, which we all love chaos. And it will be a Code Warriors one shot with the one and only Game Master Nerdburger Craig. He is sponsoring this show for his new Kickstarter for the new game Code Warriors, where we will be playing programs inside of a computer that is, and we have to survive, which is really freaking cool concept. So if you're into that, you should come tune in Sunday, October 2nd, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific. It will be about a 3-hour show, and it will be on twitch.tv/rollfort right here live. And if you can't catch it live, we'll have it over on our YouTube channel as per usual as well. And of course, we do have merch. If you want to go check it out, go get your swag, rep, roll for it, you know, get yourself a shirt. Winter's coming soon. Fall, you might need like a nice mug for your pumpkin spice latte, maybe a sweater to keep you warm. You can check that out over at designbyhumans.com/shop/roll for it. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And beyond that, you can support us over on Patreon, which you can get some really cool stuff. Like we have the witches and the familiars info out over there if you want to check it out, including our new witch, Violet Primrosia. So if you checked out that, you might have some little info on this sassy witch that's coming our way. And of course, we have our monthly recap coming out soon and many, many other goodies that thousands of things over there if you want to check out from our previous shows. And of course, you can sub to us right here on Twitch, where you get access to cool emotes and the videos in advance. And of course, you can become a YouTube member where you can get access to some of those emotes as well. And whether you're a YouTube member, Twitch subscriber, or a Patreon, you can get access to a private Discord, which we discuss many, many things in. And there's lots of theories going on about Belspree's familiar. Y'all just scared of a creepy voice?
It's going to be fine.
And of course, there are non-monetary ways to support us right here. We know that not everyone can support us in monetary ways, and we want you to take care of you and your families first. So you can just watch us live here on Twitch. Those numbers make differences. People like numbers. You can make clips only while we're live, which is weird, but that's how it works. So please make clips, more clips. There was not a lot of witches and spellcrafts clips, and I know there were some great moments last episode, so I'm watching. And of course, you can go over to our YouTube and watch our YouTube channel over there. Subscribe, like, comment. They actually have clips as well. And of course, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook. There's actually a tweet right now and a post on Facebook right now. If you want to like, share, retweet, and comment, we would very much really, really appreciate it. And I know some people are like, well, I don't have followers on my thing. It doesn't really matter that much. The algorithm likes whenever stuff gets boosted. So like as soon as you like post it and it gets a bunch of it just gets shown to more people. It's like a trickling dominoes effect. It's madness. And with that, I think I have covered all of the shillin'. So we can move into today's episode. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Oh, great. What kind of music do we want? We'll do this kind of music. We'll see. Hello, witches of Grimrose Academy. Did you miss me? Of course you did. There's quite a lot that has happened since the beginning of spring. Our very own Belspree Mayan is to be the first Empress of Improvar in over 300,000 years. Who would have thought? There's plenty of doubt she can handle the pressure. But that's not the only kettle running hot. Spotted in the courtyard, the newest pupil, a late bloom, yet a rare one it seems, bearing the first red rose in 300,000 years. Talk about royalty showing up in numbers. Whatever potions Violet and Belspree have been drinking, I'll take 20. It seems Violet is getting cozy with Persephone's coven. She definitely knows how to move up the food chain quickly and take advantage of the lonely. Although hard to miss our dear Persephone in the sea of witches when she's the only one with a fen shifter other than her very own mother. Looks like she might live up to the Jenkins name after all. Hopefully they can help Allegri learn a thing or two. That poor nurturing spirit really can't do speeches, can he? And we can't talk about Persephone's coven without mentioning Zahir. The Whispering Vine says that he didn't even attempt the great soul-binding ritual. Maybe he was too scared he'd fail. Wonder what circumstances his scholarship is under, and if he can keep it up. Suppose that's better than what we've heard regarding Violet. She went into the great soul-binding and came back empty-handed. That's not the only rumor milling about. P, better watch out, because Violet has a fiery side to her, and the hot tips coming in from her previous school say she really knows how to leave her mark. Who else wants to see what arcane magics our new Rose is capable of? Perhaps you can all do me a favor. First one to get her to showcase it gets a brand new Azure Root 10,000. Tick-tock, the clock won't stop. Hexo, hexo, wicked witch. And our camera pans to an open window in one of the spires, where we can see Persephone alone in her room as she looks across to the emptiness that is in the other side of her room, where her best friend Belspree once was. She gets a moment where there's a flashback to Belspree leaving, her two mothers appearing using some kind of shadow messaging system, demanding that she come home due to some kind of prophecy that was foretold by the shadow. The visions fade, just as though they were shadows themselves. What is Persephone thinking about? How is she feeling? What is she doing as she's looking across to the emptiness of the other side of her room?
Persephone is feeling like she's lost a little bit of her anchor. Belspree was her biggest champion and really supported her as she is, and not as expectation is for her. So she's probably sitting and having a conversation with her fen shifter, who's now going by the name Dahlia.
Yeah, what do you say to Dahlia?
And just, I hope she's okay. Some prophecy, there's so much expectations put on all of us, and I feel so bad for her.
Your fen shifter sitting next to you kind of puts their arm and their paw on your leg and leans in and says in your mind,
"It's going to be okay. You'll be all right. And I'm sure she's fine."
It doesn't look completely convinced that it's going to be fine, but it's saying it to you to reassure you.
I hope so. I worry, and she's so eager, and there's no one to counterbalance that.
Well, I don't think her friend...
I guess we'll see.
will help that either. They seem like they kind of encourage it.
Time will tell. And I mean, I guess I have this whole room now, unless they move somebody else in. Do you think they're going to move someone else in?
Maybe. Do you think we'll have new friends?
That would be nice. Some people that aren't just hangers on because of who my mom is.
I've heard people talking.
What did you hear?
That they're trying to get their parents to help them get your room. Like they want to be your roommate. They want to be your friend. But I don't know if their intentions are true.
That's the thing, is I never know. I never know these days, and I just want people to like me for once.
I can understand that. How do we tell? Should we make a test?
You cut out. I'm so sorry. I did not hear what you said.
Should we make a test?
What kind of test?
One that tells whether they're truly your friend or if they're just trying to get something from you.
Like a truth test?
Yeah, like a truth test.
It sounds like it knows what that means, but it clearly doesn't.
I mean, maybe there's a spell for that. I don't know. I'd have to maybe do some research.
All right. Research could be fun, I guess. Where would we go to research?
Well, the library seems kind of an obvious choice. Maybe we should head there.
All right.
We kind of fade to a scene with the two of them kind of grabbing all of their things, headed to the library, which there is a library in Imbrivar. It's at the center of the school, and it's called the Archive of Reverie. It is very, very old, and all of the spires, eventually their paths reach to the heart of the school, which is this library. At the top of the library, it opens up to the sun and moon, almost similarly to that of Zuzi's birdcage, where, it's a greenhouse element to it. But there are kind of like this bloom that kind of happens at the top that opens, and it can actually open fully up if they wanted. Like something could launch out of there somewhere or something. I don't know. That's the vibe that you get. In the center of this library is a huge weeping elder elm. And this elm tree kind of combines civilization and nature, and they live in harmony. All around the edges of this, you can see books from the bottom all the way to the top, tippy top of this library. And the library has no ladders or anything like that. You don't see any of those things. But anybody who's been part of the school knows that the books themselves are elementally bound to the library. So they will just come to the library or come to the librarian. And they don't require anyone to manually go grab them. Also, this means that you can't, steal a book as easily because the books themselves can be recalled back to the library, or a location spell can be done on the book to be able to find where the book is located at, if someone were to take one. That's kind of a vibe. But the tree in the center seems like it's growing in harmony. It's not ruining the library or doing anything, malicious. It's not ruining the books. Even though you would think the dampness would not be a great combination with the books, it doesn't seem like any of that is happening. But the book, or the elm tree itself, looks like it's weeping. There are these long spindles of water dripping from the leaves, but they don't ever fully drip. They just kind of like hang there, and it's quite beautiful. And if you were to touch one of these drips, it does feel wet to the touch. And if you were to maybe like put a glass there and fill it up, it would endlessly fill the cup. It's very different and interesting. It's almost like the tree is just frozen in time. That's kind of the vibe you get, but you can interact with it. So that's where we leave Persephone and Dahlia. We're going to kind of fast forward a little bit more. I know, lots of time skips happening on Roll For It. This is odd. We actually have a moment where Persephone, you are back in your room. And you hear the tip-tapping of heels against a stone floor in the hallway. And you hear a knock at your door. And it is one of those knocks that is stern yet straightforward. And it could not be anyone else's knock other than that of your mother.
I frantically try to tidy things up as much as possible. If I've gotten anything from the library that's to help me with a truth spell of some sort, like I hide it under the mattress, like just, I know my mother.
As Persephone is frantically cleaning up the room, you see on the other side of the door, Agatha Jenkins. She has red hair tightly wound up in a bun, very neatly. Green, stern eyes, and she's wearing a very clean and perfect pink rose. She knocks again.
Come in.
The door opens, but Agatha never touches the door. It just kind of magically swings open. Quickly, it stops. It doesn't like slam open or swoosh open. It seems like it's perfectly createdly open. And she stands there in the doorway. She looks around. She looks at the empty side of the room, but her eyes are drawn to your side of the room, where it's a little chaotic, I think was how you described it. There's posters on the wall, things that are pinned there. There's like bottles of weird stuff and things of the sort. And you're shoving something underneath your bed. And she is looking at you, almost judgingly, but she doesn't say anything. You feel like there's judgment happening, even though there's no words stated. And she waits to see if you say anything for at least a moment.
Is there something you wanted, Mother?
Speak more confidently, Persephone.
What can I do for you today, Mother?
Better. I don't know if it's something you can do for me, but I suppose it's something I'm doing for you. I found you a new roommate.
Okay.
Now, it's very important that you create a friendship with this person. The switch is very important, Persephone. You understand, right?
Connections are important and the only way to climb the hierarchy, I know.
Unfortunately, her family is, well, they're well off, but it's less about them. They're not very important, actually. She is important.
Why?
Well, I think that's for me to know and you to not worry about.
As always.
What did you
and
say?
And it kind of like slips out, like, and Persephone.
Excuse me? Yeah, as soon as you say that.
Nothing, Mother. As you wish.
Right. Tidy up a bit before she arrives.
That's
this is not
what
the
I was
impression you would
doing.
Want. Good. Glad to hear. Maybe your companion can assist you.
My companion has a name.
Dahlia kind of looks over to Agatha, and kind of their towel is kind of underneath them a little bit, like they're a little scared. And Dahlia is looking past Agatha, like at something, but quickly looks back at you as soon as Agatha makes eye contact with your companion. And she says, "Oh, you've named it. Great."
I
Well,
let
what
it
is the
pick
name?
its name. Thank you. And it's not it's Dahlia.
Hmm,
And she picked her name.
right. Be careful.
With what?
There are things I shield you from, my dear.
That you can't tell me about?
Yes, that is what shielding is about.
Is there anything else you wanted, Mother?
No, I think that is it. I may have something for you later, but continue onward. And I'll be sending her over soon. There is some paperwork that needs to be finalized. And she leaves the room. Doesn't even say bye to you. Doesn't say any other words. And you just hear again, the door closes behind her. She doesn't touch the door. She just kind of motions and the door closes lightly, with purpose. And you hear the clacking of her heels against the ground.
I looked at Dahlia. What were you looking at?
She has one like me.
What?
She has a fun shifter.
Yes.
Well, we're all part of a family.
The fen shifters?
She nods and sits up, kind of like, the way that Dahlia moves is very elegant and noble looking.
What? So her fen shifter's related to you?
I think so.
Huh. Well, you're your own creature, and I need to clean up this room.
She said I should help. What can I do?
Here, help me get these books out of the way.
Dahlia assists you. And like clockwork, as you're tidying up some things in your room, maybe you don't make very many changes. Violet, your two parents eagerly are standing in the doorway of the dean's office as Agatha returns, and they are basically just like groveling. They've been, anytime someone wants something from them, they're like immediately very quick to give them what they want. They are also catering to your needs, constantly asking if you're okay, even though if you say you're not okay, they just kind of like are like, you're gonna be fine. And you see Agatha return, and she hands you a key. And this key is kind of an interesting shape. It's like every key is unique. And this key is a key to your room. And your parents are kind of wanting to go with you, but Agatha reassures them that you'll be fine, that you can do this yourself, that every witch should take this moment to, grow up type of thing. And your parents look worriedly about that concept of you growing up. Like, no, I'm not okay with that. But they both hug you, and it's not a warm hug, but it's a hug that is like they don't want to let you go. Not necessarily that they're like lovingly embracing you. And your mother looks to you and puts her hands on your cheeks, and just kind of gives you a kiss on both of them. And, the look on her face is like, don't mess this up. And you walk away from them key in hand, spell book, and behind you, all of your things kind of floating, following you. And you get to the door of your room. You walk up this spiral spire. So this is a walk of like, it's a lot of steps. What is going through her mind as she is going up to this room?
I think as soon as the door closes after saying goodbye to my parents, it's like seeing someone's body deflate from being like perfectly held up and poised to just kind of letting that tension out. So I'm scanning around, seeing if there's anybody that sees me and just letting my body not hold myself up. So going up these stairs, I'm just letting my body hang and just over and over in my head being relieved that my parents are in that room and I just left and I have this independence, but also just the nervousness of starting this next chapter and who's behind the door, of who I'm sharing this room with, essentially.
Yeah, you put the key in the door. Persephone, on the other side, you hear something happening with the door, the key on, or the keyhole in the door. The fence shifter immediately like turns and kind of like gets closer to where the door is and sits and looks up and says to you, because your fence shifter is very perceptive, says,
Someone's coming.
and Violet, describe to us what we see as you unlock the door and open it.
As soon as the door swings open, it's back into the good posture, head held high, very poised, very stern looking, but you can tell that it looks uncomfortable how tightly she's holding herself. She has her hair perfectly coiffed in this pretty little sparkly tiara in her hair and a very long royal purple robe. Looks very traditionally dressed and very neat. But she seems very photogenic, but she carries herself in a way that seems like she's trying to give good angles and trying to give her best self first. She's got green eyes and long brown hair, and she immediately, you see her eyes just scan the room, taking everything in until she lands on Persephone.
And what does she see, Persephone, when she looks at you?
Hello.
Hello. You're my new roommate, I assume?
Yes, Violet Primrosia. And I'm going to walk over to you and hold my hand out.
And I'm going to shake your hand, and it's very much the same posture, it's very tight looking as well, and just reaches out and Persephone Jenkins.
Is your side of the room still really messy?
It's organized chaos.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically like a lot of oddities and weird stuff, and just like newspaper clippings of weird sightings of creatures and
Newspaper clippings.
Internally,
slightly moving.
Violet's definitely taking like a sigh of relief. Just not judging the fact that there's a mess, but kind of like, oh, thank God there's a little bit of a mess. It's nice to meet you. I am your new roommate.
I think we established that?
Yes, sorry, I'm a little distracted. Is this my bed?
This one's mine, and that's the other one. So, unless you don't like beds?
No,
Yes.
I do. I quickly turn around, go over to my side, and start just immediately unpacking things. And there's just book after book being put onto a shelf. Am I your first roommate?
No. My first roommate had to leave.
Why?
She had reasons.
Did she get kicked out?
Why would you think that?
I don't know why you would leave a school like this.
Wait till you meet my mother.
Your mother's the dean, right?
So you've already met her.
Yes, so did my parents, and she sent me on my way. We had to finish some paperwork before I came up.
Yeah, paperwork.
What's it like being the dean's daughter? Like just being. Your mom's in charge of the school.
Yeah. I don't really want to talk about myself.
Oh. Okay.
But maybe tell me about you.
There's not much to tell. I'm here, and I'm excited for the future. Do you not know anything about me?
Not exactly.
A big smile goes across Violet's face. Oh, yes. My family is just. We don't do anything important. I just, there's not much to tell about us.
But there's something to tell about you.
What do you mean?
Just something I was told.
By whom? Rumors? No one should listen to rumors.
This was a little bit more than a rumor. You have caught the eye of my mother, so clearly you've got something going on. And you can tell me or not, but that's really up to you, I suppose.
In what way did I catch your mother's eye?
I'd like to say that my mother and I have an open relationship where we, bond and talk, but you've met her.
Your mother doesn't make you tell her everything?
It's sort of the other way around.
Oh. Well, I guess she
Mother's
is
withholding. Let's say withholding.
Oh. I'm sure that's kind of nice sometimes.
And Persephone just has this very consternated look of just what? Do you need help getting your side of the room set up?
No, it's okay. This is my stuff, so I should get it set up. Can I tell that I've kind of upset her a little bit?
Are you trying to hide that you're upset, Persephone?
Persephone is not really sure what to do because it's this weird, almost like looking in a mirror, because I think she's very good at reading people. And I imagine she can see, because she does a lot of posturing herself and a lot of masking, that when other people are doing that, I think she's observant to it. And I think she's a little frustrated because it's like, okay, this person's not telling me anything. My mother's not telling me anything. What is going on?
Yeah, but are you hiding that kind of demeanor that you have, or is it very obvious?
I think it's sort of like a flash of real emotion on her face.
Okay.
And then kind of snaps back to
I would say
a more metered demeanor.
Violet, since Persephone's not necessarily hiding it, and there is a moment, you are super insightful. I think you catch this in this one facial moment that Persephone is frustrated.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I like animals and I like reading. I don't like rules much.
And Persephone actually does laugh a little bit at that.
What's something that you like?
I like things that are not what they seem.
Oh. It's very philosophical.
I suppose.
That's a good thing.
Is it?
I think so. It's more interesting than saying you like animals.
There's nothing wrong with liking animals.
Dahlia
I don't want to be rude,
kind of
but what?
sits in between you both and
Who's your friend?
watches excitedly.
Oh, this is Dahlia.
She likes animals.
So you soul bound.
Yeah, just recently.
It was incredible in there, wasn't it?
I could have stayed there forever.
Same. It was, for lack of a better word, magical.
Yeah.
I'm
I guess
glad
it would
you-
have been nice to stay.
Well, you had a friend out of it.
I did.
And Violet turns to Dahlia. It's nice to meet you, Dahlia.
Dahlia walks very like confidently towards you, and puts their paw out, like, you know, like you think of like noble people when they're like, kiss my hand. That's kind of what Dahlia is doing right now.
I would just kind of awkwardly clasp. Can I clasp its little
Yeah,
foot?
you can clasp its little foot,
And just kind of give it a proper shake, and then
It's furry
Kinda-
and soft. You can feel the little
Kind-
toe pads.
oh, that's adorable. And then I would just turn back and you just see me dump bag after bag of books onto my bed, and I just start to stack them and organize them on some shelves. And
Dahlia watches Violet doing this and looks back at Persephone and says it again.
She likes animals.
And I just nod at Dahlia.
She has a lot of books. Maybe one of her books could help you with your, truth test thing.
And I try to say, like, really quietly so that Violet doesn't hear me. Yeah, but if I want to test her, I don't want her to know about it.
Okay. Do you want to try to hear what she says? Or are you
Do
too
I hear
busy,
you?
Violet?
do I hear like whispering? Is it like really low? Because if I'm dumping stuff on the bed, I wonder if it'd be
It's up
drowned
to you.
out.
Like if you, it is a low whisper. Like Persephone's not trying to let you hear that hear it.
Is
so
there
the
like a
roll-
roll I can do to
Yeah,
see
you
if
can
I hear
definitely
it?
do a roll. If you want to see if
Okay.
you hear it. There are going to be negatives here based on Persephone's stats, actually. So those are going to give you disadvantages if
Okay.
she has any that are helpful with her being quiet/deceptive.
Actually, there would be something with Dahlia because Dahlia's got the big ears and can hear me if I'm quieter.
Ooh, I would allow that too. Like she wouldn't be able to stop you from being heard though, but she would be able to tell you that Violet could hear you.
Yeah, that's fair.
So Violet, what would you use to hear? Are you using magic or are you gonna this is just innately like your passive hearing what you can hear?
Passive hearing, probably definitely not using magic.
Okay. So then at the top of your sheet there is a roll 2d8 thing, but we're gonna pick
Okay.
which stats will be helping you hear.
Okay.
I think insightful for sure.
Okay. What about discerning?
Ooh. Those are your eyes, but your eyes are
Mhm.
not facing her.
Yeah,
right?
I'm
'Cause you're
facing
looking at
probably the
books.
wall.
I would say
Yeah.
if you were looking that direction, totally would make sense, but it's ears that are happening here, not necessarily eyes.
I think.
Would-
Oh,
Can
go
I
ahead.
suggest
Mhm.
a few things?
Go ahead.
I think if you're scrappy and or cunning, I feel like both of those things allow you to, because scrappy means that you're used to not getting what you want, so you have to push to get what you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means you probably heard some conversations that are not supposed to be heard. And cunning, I mean,
I'll
Let's
allow
just say
that.
like I've listened to my parents talk a lot.
Ooh, yeah, I like that. Like you listen to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's +3 already. Do you think there's anything else that would assist you?
I don't think so, based on
Yeah,
What-
so that is
what's
going to be
happening.
a 3. So roll 2d8 and then just put the number 3 in there. Actually, wait. Persephone, do you think there's anything that would make it so she couldn't hear you? That would give her a negative?
I don't
I mean, she
know.
admitted herself that she's dumping books onto her bed.
Environment, yeah. I would say that's a -1. The books are loud, so maybe
Okay.
that puts you down to a 2. Good point. Tyler?
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else on my sheet.
Yeah. I don't think you do either, because you're not really like a necessarily deceptive. You're actually a very straightforward person.
Yes.
So
I mean, your best friend is deceptive. Maybe you'd learn stuff from them.
that's true. Your best friend is super weird, but I don't think she's not here to help you. So I would say 2 makes sense. Let's see how your roll goes.
Ooh, not good.
Ooh, and fail. So I'm actually going to hand this over to Persephone. So how this works in Witches and Spellcraft, for those of you who are just tuning in, this maybe your first episode you're seeing, they're using their characteristics to give them advantages and disadvantages, and then also use environment elements to give them advantages and disadvantages. There was no magic being used here, so there's no magical additions like the spell book or their other, like their arcane rose is not going to affect them in this case. But on a fail, the witch does not do the thing, and either I can describe it or I can hand it over to a witch. And I feel like, this is happening to Persephone. So you describe to us what's happening as like you're whispering under your breath and Violet's putting these books down. And yeah, what happens?
Can I assume that Violet maybe turns her head a little bit, just enough to give like this idea of like trying to listen?
Mm-hmm.
And Persephone and Dahlia look up at the movement, and Persephone basically just completely clams up. Like, she sits down on her bed, she pulls out a book, and she just very stoically goes about reading, because I think she's gotten a book from the library and she's trying to figure out how to do a truth spell, which she's thinking very seriously about trying to figure out one to use on Violet at this point, because she's not sure she can trust her.
I love it. Yeah, so that's happening. Violet, you have no idea. You just think, oh, my roommate likes books too. Cool. And we have this panning, like we pan away from the scene out the window as we see Persephone reading the book, the fen shifter sitting on the ground very elegantly, kind of looking at both of them, and one ear peeked really onto what Violet's doing and the other on Persephone. And we see Violet just plunking books on the bed, putting them away on shelves, and pan back out. Now, I'm wondering if Allegri and Zahir, are you together or are you guys separate, doing something different today before class?
I'll leave that to you.
Oh,
Ooh.
great.
All right,
Okay.
Zahir, where you at? And are you with Allegri or are you alone?
I imagine that we've been working very hard to turn our room into a home, so we're probably just finishing up right now. So we put a trellis up on the ceiling, so plants are hanging down. The areas that are covered with soil on the floor are marked with little border stones, so that way it just doesn't get everywhere. But yeah, we're together. It's us and, of course, Gwillem as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The two of you
Who has
are
a little
kind of
bed.
fixing up the room, and is that how you pronounce their name?
Gwillem, yeah.
Gwillem? Okay. Is there a conversation happening between you all?
Okay, I got a question. What do you think he eats?
Well, his particular species is known to eat both berries and meat.
Berries? Oh, I love berries.
Does it want a berry? It wants a berry, doesn't it? Hold
Those
on.
berries.
Hold on.
And
Does he have berries? Does he have
he
berries?
he's very hungry. Yes.
Oh, berries.
I go, I go into a small pile of packages that I got from my family members. They're various things. Some are useful, some are decidedly not. And I pick out a small jar of dried berries, dried blueberries, and I crack it open. You want a berry?
It looks excitedly at Zahir and then back at Allegri, like, is that okay if I eat this berry? Because I really want this berry. I'm not gonna get in trouble if I eat this berry, am I?
You can have a berry, Gwillem.
Its little pangolin claws kind of like looking at you like it's doing a prayer, and its nose twitching like crazy. Berry.
Okay. I pick out one, and then I surreptitiously pick out another and hand both of them to Willem.
It wraps its tongue kind of slithers out of its mouth, and it's long and skinny, and it wraps around both berries and like almost like a frog, like sucks it in, and then you just hear like little nomming, like as it's eating, and like berries are kind of like little bits of the berry are like falling to the ground.
I really appreciate that you and Gwillem are getting along so well.
I mean, of course. He's part of your family, so he's part of my family, right?
Allegri kind of just like looks away and just kind of smiles.
I put the small jar of berries back into a drawer.
It like looks over at the where you put it, like it's watching.
I'll give you more later, promise.
It does like a little bow, and then it proceeds to roll up into a ball, and its outside is like really furry, so it just looks like a furry ball, and it starts rolling around the room like a little frantically, like it's got the zoomies basically.
Okay. Gwillem, I don't know if Zahir wants dirt on his side of the room.
It kind of like halts, and then it looks around to see where it is, and then it like goes back into ball form and just rolls around on Allegri's side.
I appreciate that.
After I plant the seeds, it'll be less messy.
Oh yeah. Once they lay some roots down, right?
Do you think you could use water it for me?
Oh, yeah, sure. It's a really simple spell. Although it can be tricky. Once I did make it hail. But I'm
That
sure that'll be
sounds
fine.
fun.
All right, are you gonna cast this spell? Also, I would like to note that because time has passed, Allegri, your pango cub is actually bigger. Like it's, yeah, it's gotten bigger.
That's like a little wrecking ball now.
Yeah, it used to be like a little like baby. It's still a baby still because it's only the end of spring, but it's bigger than it was before.
Yeah, imagine it gets to the full size of a grizzly, if not.
Yeah,
bigger.
I think that's what it makes sense for it to get really big like that.
We're gonna need a bigger room.
Zahir, walk us through what you're casting.
I have a spell in my back pocket that I call Drench. It just adds
This is one that you
water.
started with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one that it was handy on the farm way back when.
Makes sense.
Allegri's kind of my best friend, so I feel like that gives me a +1.
Yeah, and you're helping them, so that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else that can.
And in the regards to he's in touch with something else, is it the spiritual like connection he has with nature that really is something that you admire about him?
I do.
Yeah, so I think like that gives you an extra bonus here because it's very pertinent to the situation as well. I think inquisitive could also assist you.
It's true, because I've cast this spell before, and that way self-doubting probably doesn't.
You're helping others.
It's true. So 4 so far.
4, yeah.
And my arcane rose is the Order of the Flame, which deals with water as well.
Yes. So that's a +5. And your spell, let's look at that. I don't think your spellbook makes sense to assist with anything. But
Nope.
yeah, makes sense. +5. And your other spell is also water. Are these all water spells?
Yep, I'm.
I'll give you a +6 because your book, like most of your spells, are water spells.
Nice.
That's a effect.
Does make sense.
So +6. Success. You tell us what happens.
Yeah. So, I take a small. On my side of the room, there is this stone kind of font, sitting on a table that's just filled with water, and its surface always seems to ripple for seemingly no reason. I take a couple drops from that and I just sprinkle it, and as I do, a cloud appears, just a small one, over Allegri's side of the room, and starts raining down heavily, but ignoring everything that doesn't need to be rained on, like the bed.
It's like a perfect watering occurring in your guys'
Yep.
watering the plants. I love it. Is there anything else the two of you wanted to do or talk about? I think that definitely sets the scene of like the friendship and how your room's going as you're progressively creating it.
Yeah.
When was the last time you talked to Persephone?
Well, I've been so enwrapped with Gwillem that I've only really talked with you and them.
I mean, we should...
Yeah.
She lost her roommate. Not like her roommate's, dead or something, but she lost her roommate.
Yeah. Bellspree left suddenly.
Yeah, I'm still not sure what that's about.
A rumor is there was a prophecy.
First the Shadowcat, now a prophecy. Great. I'm sure Bellspree's doing right as rain. Everything's fine.
As long as they're aware of, not lost in the stars too much and enjoying what's around them. I worry that they're distracted.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I feel like Persephone will be fine. They tend to get along with people as long as they're not putting more pressure on them.
True, but I feel like we're her coven, supposedly.
You think we should check in on her?
Yeah.
I can agree with you.
All right, Gwillem, you take a shower. Let's go. I point to the cloud.
Gwillem looks at Allegri like, can I do that?
Allegri will lower down and put his hands on the ground for him to roll into his hands, and then just reaches in, holding him under the rain cloud.
Aw, dude. Gwillem opens up out of the ball and just like shimmies and then opens his mouth, and its little tongue just kind of like wiggles in the air, licking the water, and just looks like he's having a great time. He's like, this is awesome!
We need to take them to the woods. Let them explore a little bit. I think they'd like that.
Yes!
I'm sure if we found hills for them to roll down on, they'd really have a good time.
It turns around and looks at you like, and shakes its head like super vigorously, like it's real excited. And then shakes its fur and just water kind of splashes all over. Maybe a little hitting Zahir.
Come on, let's go check on her. Wait, you think they would have given her a new roommate by now? No, right?
We can find out.
I just hope this one's not weird. That's all. A normal person from a normal family with no secrets.
Like Katie's face is the greatest thing. I can't contain it. We actually hear the bell ring. All of you do. As you're saying this, you're like, we should go see Persephone. You actually know that you do have a class with Persephone coming up here. It is going to be with Professor Yaver Samaya. So if that is one of your favorite teachers, this is maybe exciting for you. This is the teacher that teaches shadow arts, and they, of course, are part of the Shadow Seekers. Do you go to class? Because here's the thing, you don't have to go to class. But if you do go to class, obviously you will learn spells, which is handy. Usually I give you spells that are going to help you in the campaign. But it's up to you. You can skip also.
I feel like Allegri will go to class and run to get there early after.
Oh, you don't want to be late this time? Okay. What about you, Zahir?
Well, if Allegri's running, I'm running.
Okay. There is
I'm not
running
going
to
on.
class. And your pet will stay in your room, like you're familiar. As you leave, the water kind of stops. It only lasts for like a scene. So as you're leaving the room, you see your pet kind of just standing in the rain, just like, I guess he's not really standing, he's like rolling around in circles, like his tongue in the air. Like he's just having the time of his life. He's super cheery little ball of fur. And the two of you close the door and race. Are you like racing? Because you both book it.
If we're racing, Allegri's steps are massive.
I feel like I would lose.
You don't have to we don't have to roll it unless you really want to roll to see who would win. We could do that.
My only goal is to hang out with my friends. So if we want to race, let's race.
Let's race.
You want to race? All right,
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do a roll off for a race. I'm into it. That's fun. What do you think would give you bonuses here, Allegri?
Well, for one, I'm Brobdingnagian.
Yeah.
So
Got them
I'm
tall
very,
legs.
very large and long. I mean, I imagine just being in the wilderness. I like the wilderness. There involves a lot of running and meandering.
You're not in the wilderness right now,
That's
though.
true. That's true.
I will say that I'm your best friend.
But maybe that would make him not want to win.
My personality is insecure, and my reason for getting there is because I don't want to be late again.
Okay. There's a little... Yeah, it's like the public speaking like you hate. Like the reason for why you're running is different. Like you're like, yeah, we're totally racing. But for you, it's internally like, we need to get there early so I don't have to publicly speak. So yeah, we'll give you +2, an insecure and the public speaking one.
Sweet.
So that's a 3.
In my side, I am broad, which means I'm rather strong.
Yeah.
Not exactly.
You're also part wolf.
It does help. But that's not on the sheet. It's not on the sheet. It doesn't count. But I come from a very demanding family. I feel like I've done races with the rest of my family before, and I intend to win every time.
Oh, okay. I'll allow that.
And I think that's it.
+2.
It's 2.
All right, so we have a +3 and a +2. The odds are in Allegri's favor.
As they should be.
Ready? Go. Ooh. Allegri wins 14 to a 10. I will say, Zahir, you well, let's first hear how Allegri wins, and then actually I'll leave it to you, Allegri, to kind of describe as Zahir kind of comes following behind you as well.
I imagine Allegri is just, I mean, he got a head start. And so he's just taking long strides and kind of in a panicked look running to class, but also looks back at Zahir kind of playfully and is just like, once he gets there, he's like, size matters.
Sometimes it's how you use it.
And with that, we pan to the ladies. I don't know if you agree with that, but we'll find out. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, what kind of show is this?
Yeah. we were talking about in the pre-show that like we could do a different version of this show with roses. But anyways, Violet and Persephone, when the bell rings as you guys are setting up, well, mostly Persephone's reading and looking for spells about truth, whereas Violet's just trying to set up their room so it looks nice, and organizing their books. What do the two of you do? Are you going to head to class quickly? Are you going leisurely? Are you going to be late? What's your process here?
Definitely get up, and I head to class quickly because otherwise my mother will hear about it.
Do you wait for Violet?
I think I hesitate and like start to walk out the door, and then I'm like, are you coming?
Yes. Let me grab. What do I need for this class?
Just your book and a sharp mind. The teacher's very particular.
Which teacher is it?
Did you not get a schedule or
I
something?
didn't read it.
Look, just follow me.
And I'm gonna quickly grab stuff, tuck it into a bag, and then just smooth out my cloak and start to follow Persephone.
And Dahlia kind of walks around in a circle on the bed and kneads the ground to like make a perfect little spot for her to lay down, and then curls up in a little ball and sleeps. And the door closes as the two of you go down the stairs quickly to class, with Persephone leading the way and our new witch kind of taking everything in as she's following in suit. And you don't arrive as early as Allegri and Zahir. But Allegri, as soon as you arrive, actually the like walkway to this spire, it transitions into this almost obsidian rock or stone or whatever it is. And it looks dark and black and with like little purple bits in it that kind of sparkle. And as you get closer and closer to the spire, there's little pointy bits that kind of like shoot up from the sides. And the spire itself is similar. It has a lot of these little spikes that go around it. And it's kind of beautiful in its own really gothic way. And the door doesn't exist in the sense of like a normal door. It is just this purple mist that kind of flows around the doorway. Almost like a portal from portals that you've seen. Everyone saw the soul binding, so you know that how portals look. It looks like a portal. And as you step through, you get that similar cold feeling as you go in, but the room is dark and it's lit by candles. They don't look like normal fiery candles from that of the Order of the Flame. They look purple and blue, and they're very magical in their element. And the room itself is lined with books and weird bottle shapes with things inside of them. Some of them have like little bits rolling around. And in the center of the room are these, they look like they're floating, but they are black slates. And there's no chairs, so it looks like you're kind of just standing. And next to each of the tables has a little circle, like a spell circle in the center, lining the way. And the tables go out to the right or the left of the circles. So the circles are kind of in the center of the room, but they're lined like parallel. Does that make sense? It's not like a circle in the center. And then at the front of the room, it has like about 4 stairs that go up, and along the sides of the stairs are these kind of spiky spindles. And at the top, it looks like a large slate desk, and behind it, you can see these windows, but the windows don't look outward towards Grimrose Academy's area in Brimbavar. Outside, you see stars and like shapes of circular planets. Sometimes if you're like looking really long, you can maybe see a shooting star or something moving in the distance.
Allegri is like taking it in, but as he continues to look around, he starts becoming more and more like scared-ish, kind of skittish. And also, I mean, there's no plant life. There's nothing of comfort here. He doesn't even have his new companion with him. He's just kind of like not knowing where to go, and at the same time, you know, just trying to find a wall to put his back to so that he can see everything and not have something creep up behind him.
And in tow, Zahir, you walk in right after your friend.
I hate portals. They're just so portally.
I just don't like where we are now.
It's cold in here and shadowy.
And dark. And nothing is living that I can tell except for things moving outside.
Well, you're living and I'm living.
Shadows are scary.
Yeah. But they're not always scary. I mean, think about it, right? Shadows come from light. So if there's light around, there's shadow around.
I cast a big shadow.
Are you
Because
going to
you take
cast
a
a
lot of
shadow?
light.
Really?
No.
Or no?
No, he's
Oh, okay.
literally talking about his size.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, actually, you do see some shadows. As you walk past maybe some of these candles, you can see your shadow kind of on the ground a little bit.
Al, you cast a big shadow because you're a big person. And I'm not just talking about your size, I'm talking about you. You got a lot of heart. That means sometimes people get intimidated by seeing someone who cares. I don't know why, but they do. Especially around here for some reason. Anyway, do you want to sit beside each other? That'd be better.
We don't hear you, Tyler.
Yeah, I'd like that.
All right.
Thank-
Pick a
The
spot.
two of you do anything else? As you're the first people in the room. No one rushes to class excitedly, except for the two of you, apparently.
I kind of want Allegri to cast something.
Ooh.
Just for his own comfort, I want to cast Nature's Gift.
Okay.
Just
So
so that
you
he
have
has
one?
something like plant-like with him.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and do that. So, what do you think would assist you in casting this? And this is also one of Allegri's like original spells as well.
I mean, I think just
Oh, do you want to
being
paste what it does in
overgrown,
the
I
chat?
have
We should
plants.
probably do that when we cast spells.
Oh, yeah.
Paste what the spell is. That way everyone can figure out what would be beneficial for them.
I'll try.
So I just hit the chat button.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys like what the school looks like. The chat is freaking out. If anyone wants to do fan art of the rooms, that would be cool. What do you think would help you with this?
I think overgrown is
Yeah, maybe you got
because
some
I
like
have
growing.
yeah.
I think overgrown is not what people think when they think like, oh, you're big. It's like there's growing stuff on him.
on me. Yeah. That's like vines and
Yeah.
flowers and different things.
I think insecure applies here because of the reason for why you're casting it.
Right. I think those are the two.
I actually think wilderness would apply here because you are using elements from the wilderness.
wilderness?
Yeah.
I mean, the only other
I'm
thing I can
gonna
think is
take
the
that away
ground.
immediately though because you hate fire and there's fire in this room, which is probably not adding to your happiness being in this room.
Discomfort. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only other thing I would think is my grandmother just knowing plants and stuff, but
Oh,
I don't know
yeah,
if it
I would allow
applies 'cause
that.
there's the only plants I'm using are kind of the ones growing on me.
Yeah. So that's a 3. Does your spell book assist you?
It's dirty and ragged.
Dirty's
think that-
helpful.
Dirty could help, yeah, because you're using dirt, maybe. And then also, you are a nurturing spirit, and this is very much a nurturing spirit spell.
Yeah. So what is
So
that?
I would say 5.
5?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here goes nothing.
This is the first time we've had a critical success. So you are definitely going to describe it, but you also get to give another witch in your coven either a new attribute, like a personality, like or hate, or you can change one of their attributes. And I think it kind of makes the most sense for Zahir to be the witch that is affected by this.
I was already going to do that.
So describe to us what that looks like and maybe how Zahir is affected by this and what changes. What changes? And this is how we get progression in this game.
I kind of want to... I kind of want to add caring to Zahir. Because of what he had just said to Allegri, in the sense that he was comforting Allegri in the sense of telling him about something that he admires about Allegri.
Yeah, I would say that would go under their personalities, not their likes. Yeah. They could like caring too, but I think they were personality-wise being caring, so that makes more sense to be a personality, not a like.
Yeah. I'm allowed to do that, right? That's an attribute I can affect. Okay.
Yeah, as long as Zahir is okay with that. So like, Adamali, you have to agree. Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It definitely has to be a mutual thing, because if he wasn't interested in having that, we would not want to go forward.
I want Zahir to be cold-hearted.
You know, maybe you do.
And so
you should have heard the conversations I was having with Katie about their.
Not again.
She was like, I want to be all these negative things. Well, you could be that if you want. She's like, oh, but I want to get along with everybody. It was pretty funny.
So what you see, Zahir, is Allegri closes his hands, and it just kind of starts glowing. And when he opens it, there's just this leaf-wrapped salve that is just kind of glowing in a mild sense, almost like you know how those glowworms in caves kind of look.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just holding it, and he just looks at you and he says, "Thank you, Zahir. Your words allowed me some comfort, and I want you to know that people admire you for your decision, even if other people may laugh at and think you were afraid of failing. I think people are just bewildered at your decision to be by yourself."
You know, I don't check it, but I do see it. And people talk about it. This weird person posting on the internet about, well, me and you and us. I appreciate that not everyone thinks like that.
Just be glad that you can fit entirely in the photos. Usually it's just me in the background or my foot or my arm. And it's
you have a very handsome arm, so.
And almost like clockwork, other students start funneling into the room, and immediately you're hearing whispers here about how you went through, or you didn't go through the soul binding ritual, and it's, you know, and then there's comments, and then everyone's wondering like, ooh, where's Persephone and where's the new Violet? Like, they're all talking, but Violet and Persephone, you arrive. You see the same thing as the others as you enter. And when you come into the room, you already see people funneling into areas, as well as you do see Allegri and Zahir in the room as well.
I kind of nod at Violet, and then I make a beeline for Zahir and Allegri.
Is it a nod of like, okay, see you later?
It's like, I got you here. You're good now.
Oh, all right. I would immediately sense that and just watch where you go. I'll take a beat and just see where you're headed.
Can I roll to see if I notice this? Or Allegri?
Oh, you notice
notices
it.
this?
You don't have to roll. They came into the room. Like
Okay.
everyone noticed. And everyone's looking. Like
Right.
it's not hard to miss. The whole school, like everyone already wanted to look at Persephone and see what Persephone was doing and sit by Persephone. But now there's like, especially seeing Persephone and Violet not sitting together, or that's the perception people are getting at this current moment as Persephone's walking towards you all and Violet's
Allegri is
standing
waving at Persephone,
Yeah.
but also past Persephone at Violet.
Like I can sense that you're waving at me, or am I just kind of like,
there. You think that, yeah, you think that he's
Yeah.
waving at you.
so I'm like clutching a book. I probably just hold my hand up as like a hi. And I'm still watching Persephone just beeline it towards you two.
Yeah, Persephone walks over to the others, and there's another student who is kind of sitting in the back. She's kind of grotesque looking and has like a smell about her. Messy raven hair, and her eyes, as she turns to look at you, like flash with this like purple element, and they're kind of a little bit wild. And she's wearing like this beautiful but like really not well kept cloak. Like it could be pretty cool if she maybe ironed it or something. And she's like this big black hat with little bits of something on top of it. A little choker that's in the heart shape. She's got braided hair that's purple or not purple, raven black. It's a little messy. And she's got purple other bits that are on her clothing. And she waves to you, Violet, and kind of motions you to come sit by her.
Well, because Persephone didn't invite me to her group, I'm immediately going to be like, oh, somebody's going to do this. I will size. They look a little grotesque and they smell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I smell them from where I am?
Yes.
I kind of turn and then I'm going to take a minute. Does anyone else around her? Is she just by herself?
There are other students like sitting standing at these tables. Not necessarily by her, but there are people around. Most people seem like their eyes are very much on Persephone, and you actually see some students as Persephone kind of like walks over to Allegri and Zahir, and they're like, "Ooh, is she gonna sit over there?" They're gonna try to like pounce for the opportunity to sit next to Persephone.
Okay. So I hear like whispering about Persephone then.
Yes, and also about you and Zahir. And Allegri. Probably like just everyone's just talking smack about everybody, like if you're really listening.
Is the girl who smells talking smack?
No, she actually wasn't saying anything about anybody or anything. She looked like she was just setting up her books.
I think because of just the panic of it all and someone waving me over, I'm just going to go over to
Yeah,
the
you get
grotesque
closer
girl.
to her and the smell is stronger. And she doesn't move her hands out of her cloak, but her cloak like slightly moves and like she looks like she's going to, but then puts her hand back and then says, "Maya Shadow, you are Violet, right?"
Yes. How did you know my name?
I think everyone knows your name.
And I'm probably trying to not breathe too much because I think she probably smells very bad. Where are you from, Maya?
Well, Improvar like everybody else. Why are you from somewhere else?
No, I just don't take this the wrong way. You smell very bad.
Do I? She kind of like
Yes.
I don't smell anything.
Can I like look at her? Like her clothes are dirty.
A little bit, yeah, like they're not very well kept. But as you're now getting closer, you can tell that she looks like maybe some kind of troll or something.
It's fine. I will probably get used to it. And then I'm going to sit next to Maya.
There aren't any chairs in this room, but you
so
stand
it's standing.
next to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
And
sidle up.
Maya just kind of grins and stays quiet as we see Persephone. Do you say anything to your friends?
Yeah, I definitely do. I come over and just sort of plop my stuff down on the table with them and just I am very happy to see both of you.
How are you, Persephone? Zahir and I were curious since Belspree left suddenly.
Yeah, I'm not super thrilled about that, but I got a new roommate that my mother is super keen on me being friends with.
Oh, that's the one in the purple cloak.
Yeah, Violet.
That went by the stinky one.
We don't say that. Come on now. We say the differently smelled one.
Anyway, that's her. She's I don't know what her deal is yet.
Seems like you don't like her though.
Look, it's not that I don't like her, it's just my mother wants me to be friends with her for whatever reason and wouldn't give me a straight answer. And I'm not really keen on being told who I should or should not be friends with.
I mean, I feel like being welcoming is just generally a nice thing to do.
I just want some time to figure her out. I have to spend time with her in a shared space, and I just, how everybody treats me. Like, I
mean, now that you brought it up, can we talk about that for a second? Because there's like hundreds of students that go to this school. Why is it this wicked witch person only ever talks about us?
Or that everybody constantly wants to be near Persephone.
That's also really creepy.
Do you smell good?
I mean, I don't smell bad.
Oh. I just thought people avoided Maya because she smelled bad and approached you because you smell good.
I don't think that's it. It's because Persephone's mother is,
Yeah, I'm supposed to be some kind of prodigy, and I just
like everyone here's supposed to be a prodigy. Everyone here's got, well, me accepted, I guess, but everyone here's got like rich parents of some kind, right?
Or they're very skilled, like Zahir.
Thanks. But yeah, everyone here's got. Why is it? Forgive me, Seth. Why is it you're so special? You know what I mean?
You tell me. I don't know. I just want to play with my weird little bits and baubles and do what I want to do. And people just can't seem to be okay with that.
Do they think that if they're friends with you, that your mom will be nicer to them in school?
Maybe. I really don't know. I don't understand the attention.
I mean, you are fun to be around.
But so many of these students don't even know me, but they want to be around me because they've got some sense of who I am, but they don't know who I am.
Is Violet one of those people?
I don't know yet. That's why I didn't invite her to sit over here with us, because I don't know yet. She's got something going on. There's got to be some reason my mother wanted so desperately for me to make friends with her.
Well, okay. usually it's about family. What's her family like?
She says not very important or interesting. But that was the thing, is my mother said something about her parents not being particularly important, but she is for some reason. But my mother didn't feel that she needed to elaborate. She felt that she's shielding me from things. And why shield me from something and yet want me to be friends with the person that you're supposedly shielding me from? I don't understand her.
I mean, isn't her actions to go sit next to this person instead of following you indicative of that she's not trying to persuade you one way or another, or to try and get close for ulterior motives?
Or she thinks that and is doing that purposefully to make it seem that way. I don't know.
I think maybe that you're overthinking this, okay? Like, this Violet, right? Violet?
Yeah.
This Violet person saw that you said, okay, bye, and walked over here and thought, okay, she doesn't want to hang out with me, and then chose not to. It's not... Sometimes there's no ulterior motives or secret agendas. There's just...
So you're siding with my mother, basically. You're telling me that I need to be friends with this person.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that regardless of what your mother doesn't or doesn't want, it's only fair to give Violet a fair shot. I think that your mother's got ulterior motives because... I'm sorry. She's always got ulterior motives.
Well, yeah.
I just am stating what I saw.
Well, like...
Okay.
I mean, at least give me some breathing room. It's not like I immediately have to be the bestest friends with this new person. Like, I don't understand why everybody's being so pushy.
You're right, but at the same time, I think I'm gonna go talk to her.
Do the thing that you do.
As you get up to go, you see
Where?
at the front of the class a shadow kind of forming from one of the lights, and it starts kind of whirling about and spinning at the front of the class. And Violet, you could definitely overhear the conversation that group is having about you. Everyone's listening in. There's people definitely talking about you. That's not the only group of people talking about you. There are other people whispering. They're like, oh my gosh, she's a red rose. What do you think they can do? And like, just like trying to figure you out and also like eyeing you up. But at the front of the class, you all see this kind of like almost tornado occurring in front of you, but it is of shadows and it's quiet, like no sound, but you see it spinning about. And as it forms into its final form, you can see Professor Yaver Samaya. They are tall. When you look up at them, it looks like they are towering over you. Even for one like Allegri, they are very, very tall in comparison to you. Doesn't look like they're a half giant. It just looks like they're very tall. Maybe some kind of elven or something. They have very dark skin and they're very lanky, and they have a very gloomy demeanor. And their eyes look kind of stern to some extent. And they look out to the class and say,
Everyone, please. Eyes up here.
And people start being quiet. Some people start whispering a little bit. And he snaps his finger and silence. Even those that are moving their mouths, all of a sudden, like mid-talking, just stop, as like, they feel like they're saying words, but nothing's coming out. It's just purely silent in the room.
As I sidle up to Violet and Maya, I just look at Violet and give her a big old grin and a wink. And don't say a word, because I know nothing's going to come out.
I'm immediately like, is he flirting with me?
Yes, I'm here for the shipping. And Yaver says,
Today, we will be learning something new. How many of you have heard of the void of honesty?
He points to Zahir, and you feel like you could probably say something and it will be heard.
I only read the name once in a book, but it seems like some sort of place in which only truths can be spoken.
Yes, that is what it is. Today we will be making a small void of honesty. You see the circles next to your desks. This is where your spell will occur. Now, look to the sides of the room.
You can see on the side of the room there are these large potted plants along kind of almost like a serving table on the left side and on the right side. And you see a pot with dandelions, a pot with eucalyptus, garlic, and star anise. And he says,
Take a small bit of each. Grind them at your tables. Draw your circle around your partner. And speak the words. Speak the truth in your soul. And if you've done it right, they should speak the soul, truth, and answer your very one question. Now, go on. Get to it.
as he watches you all, and he kind of just sits down, not on a chair. It looks like a shadowy pool that's just kind of like slowly emanating from underneath his cloak, and he sits and he looks a little less tall as he's sitting, but he's still very lanky, and he just puts his hands together, and they're very long fingers, and he just watches, like almost like he's just seeing through all of you. Who do you partner with, and who grabs the things, who's grinding, who's going to be the one that tells the truth, who's going to be the one that does the spell casting?
I would love to partner up with Violet, and I would love to do the spell casting.
I think if you do this quickly, it would be too fast for me to do anything about it. And then I'm probably also like, oh, this person doesn't smell like Maya does. So maybe it'll be a little bit more comfortable to be in close proximity.
What do you say to her,
Important
Zahir?
I was going to say important questions, Zahir. Did you get wet from the rain in the room?
A little bit, yeah, because I remember I got some of the spray back from the shower.
Would you smell a little like wet dog?
More like wet Pengo cub.
A little bit, but there's overwhelmingly a scent of like juniper, wet bark, and a little bit of wet dog underneath all of that.
It probably smells a lot better than Maya does.
There's also the fact that Zahir's covered in, like, wears fur, right? Which means that fur's not always the most pleasant when it's a bit wet.
Persephone immediately reaches out for like Allegri's arm and is like, please partner with me and please don't make me tell any truths. People are already eavesdropping on me so much. I promise I'll throw you a softball question, but don't help me out here, please.
I will. I was going to pick you anyway.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Can I pick the ingredients?
So how it works is
Yeah,
whoever's
absolutely.
casting the spell does not grind the bits. The person who is going to tell the truth has to pick the plants themselves, like they have to be on a plant, and grind them and give them to the caster. So this is a very like, I want to tell the truth, and I'm offering you a question to ask me. It is a mutual telling of truth that you both are agreeing to. And then the spellcaster will be the one who puts it around them and says the word. Because the element that you're putting into it, Allegri, is your work and effort towards putting that. So it's kind of like, it's like a mini binding, but not really.
Oh, so then it works out perfectly for Allegri to gather all the stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of just works out that way. Zahir, what do you say to Violet? As Violet's standing next to Maya. Maya thinks that they're going to be the partner with Violet and kind of looks over, but you rush in and what do you say?
Swoon her.
What?
You want to spell cast with me?
But there's an uneven number of us at the table.
Yeah, she's with me.
Sorry, we didn't get that, Maggie.
Yeah, she's with me.
Hey, you're still cut out.
Oh, that's weird. Can't hear me at all?
Now we can.
Mhm.
Okay. She's like, yeah, she's with me.
Well, I got an idea. Why don't you pick up the ingredients, Violet, and Maya, you and I, we can do a little bit, a circle within a circle, so to speak.
I don't really like
Okay.
that idea. I kind of wanted it just to be us two, not with you. And also, don't you have a coven to be with?
Violet's also part of the coven, right? At least that's what I heard on Wicked Witch.
Yeah. Yes.
We all know that that's not how it works. You don't just become part of a coven. There's like an initiation phase, unless you already did that.
Maya, why did you want to be my partner?
I mean, because why not? Like, no one else was offering you a seat. And you're gonna go sit with him when clearly they were like talking about you. Didn't you hear them? I heard them. I hate when people are fake. He probably just wants something from you, don't you?
Well, considering this whole spell's about telling the truth.
Yeah, see? He just wants something from you. So you tell me, Violet,
Let me actually.
who wants to be your partner for the right reasons?
How about this, Violet? Why don't I go pick the ingredients, and then one of you can decide upon who gets to ask me a question.
We're asking you questions.
Well, if that's what would make you both feel comfortable, I feel like, sure, I could sacrifice a little bit of my own
Yes,
secrets.
I would prefer to not be the one being asked questions.
Of course. I'm an open book.
Fine, I can deal with that. I'm not gonna make it easy on you, Zahir.
I don't expect you to.
And when you go away to the table to go get the ingredients, she's gonna have a chat with you, Violet.
Okay. She's making me a little uncomfortable.
Fair.
Is this all happening nearby? Because I'm really like, there would be a high curiosity on Persephone's part to
Oh yeah,
listen
you all
in.
are in a classroom together. You can all see and hear things. Unless
Okay,
someone's being
cool.
secretive. And Maya is not a secretive person. She's very upfront and hates fakeness.
I imagine Allegri takes his time to pick quickly picks the ingredients, brings them over and starts grinding them, and then as he's walking back, hands Zahir the healing salve and says, "If you can heal the plants, I'd appreciate it."
Of course. Violet's not... She seems lost and scared, not, And I lower my voice down to like a mostly whisper and direct it as best I can, exclusively towards Aloe. I don't think she's got bad intentions. I just think that she's got bad experiences.
Allegri would just nod.
Also, Maya is still a jerk.
I know.
And
Bad flowers often smell bad.
Yeah, I suppose so. And I rub like a little bit of salve on each plant I pick from to heal him.
Yeah. It's only going to heal one, because it's like one salve. It only heals one thing.
You heal one.
So maybe you pick the one that looks like it's been plucked improperly or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it kind of reblooms. And you go and pick your pieces. And while you're picking your pieces, Maya looks to Violet and says, you know, they've said some really awful things.
I know. I've heard. And I start posturing myself a little bit more defensively. What have you heard? Because I'm assuming lots of things.
Well, it mostly seems like they're not sure if they trust you. And I mean, they have no reason not to trust you unless you did something that would make them not trust you. And also, like, everyone else is being super weird. You're just another student here, just like us.
People seem interested in, and I lower my voice, Persephone.
Well, yeah, she's the dean's daughter. She's like meant to be some kind of prodigy. Like, the dean is one of the most powerful witches in all of Imbrivar. So, like, people are expecting her to be as well, which I'm sure is like awful pressure, but it doesn't mean that you have to be so mean to a new student.
It seems like rumors and gossip are a problem here.
I mean, rumors and gossip is a problem everywhere.
Why don't they come talk to me? Why do they just look at me and lower their voice and talk about me?
I mean, have you met any teenager who's just gonna like walk over to you and tell you their truths? No. I mean, I guess this is the first time. What should we ask Zahir? Should we like play a little prank on him?
What kind of prank?
I don't know, something fun. Like maybe we make him fart or something.
Already because of the smell, I'm like not on board for that. Let's tell me about Zahir. Is he nice?
Actually, I will say that I've only seen him really be nice, other than obviously this. Well, even here, he's come over here, so maybe he was told not to talk to you or something, and now he's come over on his own accord. I don't know. He's a scholarship student, so his parents are not very rich. So if you're looking to like step up in the world, I would not marry that one.
Is that what you're doing?
I don't think
Scoping
anyone
out.
wants to marry me. I mean, look at me. Look at you. Everyone would want to marry you. You're gorgeous. I'm like, I don't even know, like a -5 on the scale.
There's got to be someone out there for you. Like
Maybe someone who actually likes my cleverness. That's going to be the one for me.
I don't know who to trust. And also, Persephone just walked me down here, but then she just left me here. Does she already have friends?
Yeah, she has a whole coven. Oh, speaking of which, here he comes.
You gotta forgive Persephone. She's just she's gone through a lot, and it's hard to trust people when you're surrounded by a bunch of people like this. And I point to literally someone who's probably talking about Persephone right now. It's not you. It's not you.
Does she warm up? Or do I need to get ready to have a very uncomfortable semester?
Look, I'll say this. If she really doesn't like you, you won't be staying in that room for too long.
Ooh, ominous.
Okay.
Does that mean Bellspree and her had like a breakup or something?
Well, they weren't dating You know what?
Is
I'm not
Bellspree
gonna
the
spread-
person who was in the room before me?
Yeah.
She was.
She's supposed to be the Empress. At least that's what everyone's saying, which is crazy because there hasn't been an Empress in like 300,000 years, which is kind of cool. I mean, that makes Bellspree like a badass.
So if you want to get married to someone, I suppose it should be Bellspree.
I guess, maybe. She's not really my type. I mean, other than the fact that she's a shadow seeker, which is really cool. I'm glad that the Empress is a shadow seeker. I'm so done with these like Keeper's disciples running everything.
I turn my head and kind of like cock my head. My parents are Keeper's disciples.
Yeah, but you're not.
And then like I coil back and like look nervously over at Zahir.
What are you?
It doesn't matter.
You're right. It doesn't matter. So why are you so intent on hiding it?
I'm more surprised that no one has heard.
I don't actually keep up with Wicked Witch. I
You
keep it
don't?
from other people.
I mean, maybe Zahir hasn't heard, but everybody else has.
Does everybody listen to Wicked Witch here?
I mean,
lot of
a
people.
lot of them.
I feel like considering I'm in it a lot, apparently, I just should stay away from it.
Yeah, but they don't really say anything
You're-
that bad about
you're
you,
this-
Zahir.
Zahir that I read about?
Oh, that's creepy. Yes.
Listen. Well, then it's odd that I know more about you than you know about me.
And you're about to know even more. You should probably start grinding those up.
Yes, get to that. Why don't you? So we can do the spell quickly?
I'm just going to start doing what the professor said to get the ingredients ready.
Yeah, so as Allegri and Zahir grind their ingredients and the spellcasters prepare to cast, Allegri will sit in the middle of the circle, Zahir will sit in the middle of the circle, and the student who's casting is going to roll. You will get bonuses for the person who you are casting the spell on. And for Violet and Maya, you will be doing a spell circle. So Violet will be the main witch, and Maya will be assisting you. So,
Oh, at level 0, right?
yes, they will start at level 0. So if you want to add a new spell to your spell book, and I'll give you the name of the spell, which is called Void of Honesty. I'll paste it in chat so you can just grab it. And it creates a small shadowy space that requires an entity to tell the truth for one scene. Actually, that should be one question, not one scene. Sorry.
Aw, but now I can't be super honest.
That should be level 0, right?
Level
Okay.
0. And we will start with Persephone.
All right. So I need to look at what I can add to this, right?
Yes.
Curious,
Yes.
pushy.
Yes.
I think because I'm not gonna ask anything really deep of Allegri, and I have the relationships that I'm worried they'll get taken advantage of.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense here. I think both of those, so
Zoom
that's
is
a +4. So you're at 4 now.
Okay,
Nice.
I think that's kind of what I got.
Yeah, and if you were gonna ask them a question that was, interesting, I would give you mischievous, but you're not. What are you thinking, Allegri? What bonuses would you give to
I
this?
think the fact that I admire Persephone,
Yeah.
for always being curious and liking people for the most part. Liking people that aren't trying to get with, like, use
I
them.
think the admiring them works, but maybe not
Yeah,
the
the
bonus for they're always
Right.
curious and like people.
I think because I want to say my delicate eyes because I'm going to be looking at them.
I'll allow it this time. Tyler and the eyes. You're always trying
the eyes are the window to the person's soul.
I know, but one time you were trying to use your eyes for something that like, didn't even apply. We're like, what?
I cast out
It's
a
so
net
funny.
with my eyes.
All right, so that gives me
That's
what
plus
am I up to?
6.
There's
6.
one disadvantage.
Uh-oh.
The public speaking that I hate. I would say.
I don't think you're public speaking necessarily, because
Okay.
you're gonna do the. Everyone's all doing it at the same time, so it's not like you're.
Okay.
You're the only one by yourself. Let's see.
I think
Anything
those
else
are the
that I
only
think
two
applies?
that I have.
need to check one more thing on Persephone's sheet as well. Where did it go? I'm gonna move your sheet for 1 second.
Sure.
Yaver is your favorite teacher because he's
Yes.
mysterious. I think not the mysterious part, but I definitely think Yaver being your teacher would give you a bonus. That's
Okay.
+7 to your spell.
Nice. So if
Neither-
I fail, it's going to be real sad.
Yeah, and neither of you are shadow seekers, so you don't get a bonus for this because it is very much you're using the shadow to do this.
Gotcha.
Basically, like a shadow envelops you and you tell the truth type of thing.
We ready?
Yeah, go for it. Success. We'll have you describe that in a moment.
Okay.
Violet, you're next.
Okay.
What
So I'm-
bonuses do you think you'd get?
I have insightful
Mm-hmm.
and cunning.
Yep.
I don't know if you'll let me use discerning.
I'll allow you to use discerning in this
Okay.
circumstance.
And then I think because of my rose,
Yes.
right?
Because you are
Okay.
a Grimrose, you will get a bonus.
Okay.
Did you say researching?
I didn't. I wasn't sure if that one would
Hmm.
apply.
I guess it's more like learning than researching, so don't think it applies. But Professor Yaver is your favorite teacher,
Mhm.
because the shadow arts are frowned upon your school, but you've always been interested, so I think that you get the bonus for both of those.
Okay.
So that puts you at 6.
My aid.
We'll get to mine next. Yeah, I'm looking to see if there's any other bonuses.
I can help.
Yes,
'Cause
we'll go to
I do
Zahir
like-
next.
I like helping others. So there's a
7?
+1 for that.
Yeah, I'll allow that.
I'm deep and caring. Deep meaning I have a lot of internal stuff that you can mine, I guess.
I think deep would make sense. Caring might not.
And I think that's all I got for you.
Yeah, so that's 3. I was thinking that other one might apply here, but it doesn't necessarily.
My spell book's better for natural stuff, not.
Yeah, I think you will get another bonus here because this is a weird thing to apply here, but it will apply here for reasons, but you'll have to figure that out on your own. Zahir, the fact that your favorite place is the Grim Tower will also apply here. That will be a +9. And for Maya, let me double check her stuff. She is a shadow seeker, so that's a plus. So you're at 10 now. She's clever. I think we'll apply here. She hates
Doesn't she have
fakeness, and I feel like telling the truth is definitely not fake.
Doesn't she have to roll? Because it's a spell circle, right? She rolls to see if she gives a +1.
Yeah, I'm figuring out what applies to her
Oh,
spell.
gotcha.
So. Oh yeah, that's right. So you're at 10 with Zahir stuff, and then this will be their +2. So +2, and this is like
Katie,
a
you do not
darkness
succeed with
smell. I think
+2.
it will work. Yeah, I think 3 things.
I think
So
she should get an additional plus for being smelly.
Why would she get additional plus just for being spelly?
Because it forces people to be truthful around her about her stench.
Oh boy!
So she gets a extra +4 here, and I will just submit 13. So you get a +1 to that. So you are +11, I believe, Violet.
You almost can't fail.
Yeah, you basically are a partial
Almost.
success or above. Smell
my-
disadvantage.
You're rolling with a +11.
Okay, do I have to ask a question first or no?
It's
No,
+10
roll
now.
No. Okay.
Or +11. Yeah, +11.
All right.
You don't ask the question
Here
until
comes
you
the crit.
cast. but we're gonna do. Dang, crit. All right. So, and I think that, dude, you are just progressing like crazy, Zahir, because I feel like it's gonna make the most sense for you. But technically, no one is in her coven, but we will house rule that it affects you because this is a show. So, Persephone, describe to us what it looks like as you successfully cast this. That means Persephone and Allegri, you combined will get a level 1 in this spell. Violet, Zahir, and Maya will also be level 1 in this spell.
Okay.
You automatically get that. You don't have to put any check marks.
Okay, so I've been planning on throwing an easy question at Allegri. But I imagine that this void that, appears around has kind of got these shadowy tendrils, and it's a little bit like that scene in Little Mermaid where Ursula is taking the voice from Ariel, and it's actually like pulling the truth out, and it's almost like the truth itself is glowing. And I just asked him something very simple. I say, what is your dream profession?
Oh gosh, a dream profession. I'm
Yeah,
trying
you
to
must
think
tell
of
the truth.
What was? Yeah,
What would Allegri want to do?
groundskeeper.
You just hear the words groundskeeper in this deep voice that Allegri speaks, and we see it in this form of this shadow as it seeps its way towards Persephone, and you hear it go into your ear. Whisper the words. This is something that you two share. Other people don't hear this secret. It is just what you share. And do you react to that at all, Persephone?
I just kind of smile because it's so Allegri.
I love it. And we pan back over to the odd group as Zahir, you sit in the middle of the circle, and Violet and Maya begin to cast the spell. Violet, you critically succeeded, so you describe to us what this looks like, how Maya affects your spell, and then also ask your question to Zahir and tell us what changes in Zahir. So if you want to look at Zahir's sheet, you can either add a personality, like or hate, or you can change one of theirs.
It's a lot of power.
It is a lot of power. It's the cool part. We're telling a story together. But
Yeah.
Adam Ali has to agree with it also. You can't just change it without their agreement.
I feel like we're casting this spell and it's like the room turns instantly black, like walls slam down around Zahir and myself. And I don't know if it's intentional, but Maya is no longer there.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yes, you critically succeeded. I love it. Do it.
And it's like the floor glows this blue iridescence. And it's just like we are in a separate world away from everything. There's an echo when either one of us speaks. And I'm almost shocked by it once this happened because it was so fast.
Before you even ask a question. So you really like being closed off, huh?
I get to ask the questions.
All right. Go ahead, Violet. Ask me what you will.
And when I reach out to ask a question and I kind of open my palm and it's like the blue light flows from my hand and forms a little orb in front of Zahir. And like a music visualizer, like when I speak, it kind of undulates with the words. What do you know about the Grimrose?
Maggie, should I ask? What do I know about the Grimrose?
Yeah, I think that's great. Do you want to make this a roll, or I can tell you what you know by default, but if you want to, like, if we want to see if you know more beyond that,
I feel
we
like
could make
that's
it a
good
roll.
idea.
I think
Let's make it a
that's
roll.
momentous. And this will be a great way to end this episode. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Katie, I love that. Sometimes you guys do like
know.
the first episode, what Zahir did, I was like not expecting that, and that was cool too. What do you think would help you here? And this is all non-magical oriented.
Yes. I'm inquisitive and deep.
Yes.
And the Grim Tower is my favorite place, and I feel like if it applied to the spell, it applies to this.
Yes, 100%.
One of my likes is archaeology. I like investigating things.
Yes.
And studying things.
100. I would also say, because it's feared, it's often left alone, would add to this because it's an element that you know about. So 5.
That's 5.
Is it a plant? Because if it is,
It's
being best
not
friends with Allegri.
really a plant. I
That's
mean,
fair
the arcane roses are, to some extent, a plant. But,
I would like a situational bonus here. Hear me out.
ooh, okay.
I'm a scholarship student. Compared to everyone else here, I have the most to lose, and maybe the most to gain. I feel like I would have researched this place the hardest that I could. I want to know as much as possible,
I'll
because I
allow
don't
it.
want to be the person who's
6.
the least. 6.
I think your spell book, is it something that was handed down to you? Or
Some of
gifted
them
to
are.
you, or something of that sort?
Some of the spells are. Like, the spells themselves are written on pieces of wood that are all tied together with strings. Some of those spells, especially if they come from, like, a very differently colored wood, are handed down.
I'll give you an extra bonus for one of the planks of wood that's in your spell book. And specifically because Violet is involved in this, I'll give you an extra bonus. So that puts you at 7.
7 it is.
All right.
All right, everyone take a deep breath.
Yes. Wow, this is so many crits this episode. I'm so into it. All right. You 100% going to get a lot of information here. And you also get to change something about Violet. So if you open Violet's sheet, you can either add a characteristic or adjust one that they have. So you're both kind of changing each other. This is so cool. So think on that, and if either of you have one, feel free to bring it up. And I'm going to grab my information that I need to share with you guys in regards to what you know. Ooh. Do you know which characteristics you want to change of each other?
It's really hard to pick something. Because I'm like, oh, he's been very open and kind since, he made the first move to like make me feel welcome.
Yeah.
But I feel like caring kind of covers that.
I mean, we haven't... He could like flirting, considering you thought he was flirting before.
Could
That's
be
true.
flirtatious, yeah.
Yeah, flirtatious. Yeah, you could have flirtatious.
That's kind of fun. I'm
Do
trying
you
to
want
decide
that to be
I'm trying
perfect
to-
for Zahir? Though?
to decide if there's something like that or if it's more of like a, I don't know, you already have deep, so I'm already thinking that doesn't cover like thinking you have more of a depth of wellness or
They've been very
knowledge.
friendly too
Yeah.
with you, right? Like,
But doesn't caring kind of cover that?
caring is different than friendliness, right? Caring is like you actually care for the person or the thing or whatever it might be, and you're trying to like assist them with something, like almost empathetic or
Mhm.
sympathetic, whichever
I
one
feel
of
like
those. I always forget.
compassionate.
Whereas
looking back
friendly
and what
is just
happened.
like you're nice to people even if you don't know them, right?
Yeah.
But you could be flirtatious if that's what you guys want to agree on.
I'm okay with anything.
I'm
All
also
these
kind of,
options are good.
I'm also kind of like, Zahir's giving me trustworthy vibes. So
Ooh.
like, this is also Violet being open in her own way by asking this question.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, are you trustworthy?
I can
He
be.
can be.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add to Violet's likes honesty.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes the most sense to me. I'll type that in right now.
Yeah. If you're okay with it, Zahir, I would say that you're trustworthy.
Under personality, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have a lot of personality.
And what would you like to change or give to Violet as another characteristic? Or
Likes honesty.
likes honesty. Ooh, are you okay with that, Katie?
Yes. I think
All
that
right.
aligns well.
Love it. All right. We've got some changes in accordance. But Zahir, what you know about the Grimrose is that long ago, there was just one arcane rose, the Grimrose, which that's what the school is named after. This information is probably easier for someone to figure out, but they still keep it under wraps. But you were able to get some information. Its petals held all the arcane magic, but there was something that happened called the somber wilting. You're not sure what that is. It's something you'd have to look further into, but you saw in the scriptures and a lot of the written scribing something about a somber wilting. And after that, the Grimrose fell to pieces. And now you have these 4 roses that have sprouted. And these roses all hold an element of what the Grimrose had. And that's kind of all you know. And this information, it coincides with what the rumors are, that the Grimrose has not been seen for 300,000 years. No one has seen anybody who has represented the Grimrose. The Grimrose hasn't even sprouted, so it's very weird that Violet is a Grimrose when the Grimrose doesn't exist. No one's seen it. So it's really strange. You do know also, because I'm sure that you are very curious in regards to the somber wilting, that there is a bookworm that knows more information. They've recited in a couple places in some of those books, but to get access to the bookworm is very difficult. Probably someone like Agatha Jenkins or maybe an empress could help you get access to the bookworm. But there's no way you're getting access to the bookworm to get that information. So you're very aware of that. Because your favorite place is the Grim Tower. Let me see what you would know of that. Obviously, you know that it's the tallest tower in the school that looms over the Grimrose Academy. Once what was beautiful, sterling site has been seemingly abandoned over the years with little care. Its gray stones crackle in places where vines now creep into it. There are many dark and spooky stories about the tower, so most students fear it or even fear going near it. And the faculty of Grimrose Academy tends to heed caution to those whose curiosity bends towards it. So it's very much don't go over there, don't go in there. And that's probably why you are drawn to it. It is a mystery that you want to solve.
I relay all of this information, of course. I'm honor bound to and spellbound to. But I add this.
You don't have to tell Violet everything, but you can choose to. You just have to tell Violet what you know of the rose. Doesn't even have to tell details. You could be like, I know that it exists, right? If you wanted to be not trustworthy.
The rose wilted several thousand years ago. At least that's the story. It used to represent all of us. But then after its wilting, 4 rose in its place. And you're a Grimrose, I know that. No one else would be this curious about it.
Yes, it's true. I'm surprised you hadn't heard.
I don't keep in touch with the witch talk and the rest. I hang out with my friends. I try and focus on my classwork. I'm the wrong person to ask, you know that. There's a bookworm that we could probably find out, but even in that case, I don't have access to it, and you wouldn't have access to it. You need, like, Dean Jenkins on your side, or someone more powerful than that.
Well, maybe there's a way. No one's telling me anything. People are making such a big deal out of this.
Okay, think a bit about it like this. All of us have specialties, right? Like, maybe you're really good at mind magic, or you're really good at entropic things, right? Your specialty can be anything, is everything. That's special. That's unique. No one else here has that.
Yeah, but what comes with that is people whispering when I go down the halls, or if I check Wicked Witch, just comments.
Okay, first off, stop checking Wicked Witch. And second, that's all of us. Allegri's father was the groundskeeper here, which means everyone has a story about him. Persephone, well, her mother's the dean, and I'm one of the only scholarship students the school has ever had. Everyone is out here wanting to see if I fail or succeed or other things that, to be honest, they don't care about. They just want to know.
Feels like we're in a zoo.
And we're the attractions? Yeah, it does. All the time.
I'm just trying to figure out what it means and why people keep telling me to not mess it up.
This is not truthful at this point, because I don't know for sure. But my guess is if you were to succeed, we might see another red rose bloom, and there might be more of you. And if you were to fail, the wilting took out the only rose we had and put 4 in its place. We only have the 4 now, if there's another wilting.
Would you, I know we just met, maybe want to go to the Grim Tower with me?
It's my favorite place, yeah.
Is it haunted?
Probably.
Okay.
Okay, hauntings are not so bad. Ghosts are like people, except, dead.
Maybe they'd know something.
If we could find one. We'd have to get someone old, though. Also, you should probably drop the whole Shadow Walls things, because someone's gonna get... This is taking a while.
And I'll snap my fingers and it just back into the room, just curtains falling into the floor.
Yeah, the shadow falls down and Maya's like, what the heck?
I guess I just didn't cast it right.
As Maya still gets the benefit of leveling, so she knows something sus about you saying that, and she looks at you and says, well, it seems not everyone's gonna tell the truth today. And her eyes are on you. And her eyes are already a little wild and crazy, so she looks even crazier when she looks at you. She's plotting something, probably. It's fine. And we kind of we're going to end our episode with Zahir and Violet agreeing to go to the Grim Tower to find a ghost to speak to. And Allegri and Persephone's friendship, a much more, what would we call it? Like a kind situation that has happened with them with, Persephone giving Allegri a very easy question to answer, and as expected, the answer being exactly what Persephone would expect from Allegri. And we've shared this warm moment with each other. And that is where today's episode will end, with the curiosity of the witches wondering, what is the Grimrose about? Why is there one here? Where is the Grimrose that is powering this witch? Who knows? And I'm certain they'll figure it out. Will they meet the bookworm? Will they find a ghost? Find out next time on Grimrose Academy. So with that, actually I have one more scene. So we end the we fade to black with that. But we have a final scene. As, the credits roll, there's like a little zoom in picture, and we zoom in on Persephone as you're walking with your friends, and maybe a new companion if Zahir invites Violet along when you guys leave class. Would you?
I wouldn't, but I'd be very clear to Violet. That's just because you need to give Persephone some time. But don't worry.
Okay.
I'll spread a good
As
word.
we see Zahir, Allegri, and Persephone walking out of the classroom down this long, dark, obsidian walkway, we see Violet kind of following and further back behind, but watching them. Persephone, someone comes over to you and hands you a note. Do you unfurl the note?
Yeah.
It is a pink slip of paper, parchment. And as soon as you open it, it kind of like floats from your hands. And you hear the words, "Come to my office." And it is the sound of your mother. And the paper shrivels away. Or it doesn't really shrivel away. It turns into like what looks like flowers, petals, and falls to the ground. Like pink flower petals.
I gotta go.
And that is where the episode truly ends. With that, we will go around and you can see what everyone else is up to. First and foremost, I feel like I just gotta give it to Persephone. Please, Strange Like That, tell us where people can find you at. I hope you're okay. Please tell me if you're okay. When you're not getting berated by awful students in school and getting a new roommate and finding out that your best friend is now an empress and seeing your mother. What are you up to?
Oh, so many things. But if you want to find out what some of those things are, you can find me online as @StrangeLikeThat, the Twitter, Instagram, Facebooks, TikToks, website. You can also check me out over at 12-Sided Stories, which is a fully produced podcast with sound effects and music that I'm working on the next season of our show Unquiet Blood over there, which is a game of Vampire 5e that I run.
Ooh, we do love some vampire here, as I always note. And of course, to our new witch, Violet, played by Katie Play. Where can people find you at when you are not trying to figure out who you are and navigating high school life?
Oh, yeah. Hi, I'm Katie Peters Plays. I played Violet for you today. I'm really excited to be here with this cast for this show, so I'm super stoked. I'm sad episode 1 is already over. So you can catch me on Twitch at Katie Peters Plays. Here on Roll For It for some tabletop, and then I have a podcast called Katie Hasn't Seen That. I have 2 podcasts, one about the Orville, which you can go listen to, and then one that I watch movies everybody's seen already, and I have not. And then, season 2 of that is out right now. But yeah, that's me. And I was on vacation, and I don't remember anything that I do. So I'm trying to get back into like this swing of how to talk like a person.
Oh, yeah. It's different.
Yeah.
And also, you've like interviewed the cast of Orville, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been really cool. And
she's like,
yeah.
I have this podcast, but also like literally got to interview Orville cast, which is so cool. So definitely go check it out if you haven't. And next up we have Zahir, played by Werewolf Feels. Where can people find you at when you are not really rolling in new characteristics this episode? And of course, caring for your best friend as well as a new student in the school.
Yeah, we've learned a lot about Zahir today, which is mostly that, damn, that guy can really, really, really befriend a person. Hi, I'm Northern Leader, also known as Werewolf. You can find me online at Werewolf Feels, wherever good werewolves are found, because I'm a very good werewolf. I do roleplay more than just on Roll For It. If you find the Atomless podcast wherever good podcasts are found, like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, that kind of thing, you can find me playing in a Freet in Starfinder, a Starfinder campaign that we call the Atomless, and I've enjoyed it quite immensely. Next Friday, you can catch me on Trooper SJP's Twitch channel, where we play the second episode of our 2-shot of Tunnels and Trolls, the second ever published TTRPG, which is wild. And there's going to be some new news coming soon. I hear that there's a month of darkness coming up, and you can't have months of darkness without werewolves. So you might be seeing me again somewhere else. But that's all for now.
Ooh. Just for you. And of course, we have the final witch. We have Allegri, played by Apocalypto12. Where can people find you at when you are not playing with your adorable Pengo cub, or, you know, trying to keep the plants alive, and just generally just trying not to speak in front of other people?
You can find me everywhere on social media as Apocalypto_12. On YouTube, no underscore, because apparently YouTube doesn't like the underscore. But you can primarily find me on my podcast called Go My Favorite Sports Team. It's available on pretty much every podcast listening app you can imagine. And it's a sports podcast for people that don't know or don't like sports.
All right. And I'm Margaret Crone. You can find me at Margaret Crone in all of the places. I do lots of things on the internets. And if you want to see them, just follow me. I'll let you know whenever I'm live. I am going to be in a lot of projects coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. But I will be here on Roll For It, twitch.tv/Roll For It, next Wednesday, because our show is going to be on Wednesday now. But we will also repost it on Thursday. So those of you who are regulars, it will also still be there. And of course, next week for Grimrose Academy. And there have been a couple other things. I believe the show on the 24th has been announced as well, which is a charity stream over on twitch.tv/MagiRPG, where I will be playing a computer android character, which should be really fun. So definitely tune into that. And of course, we would like to thank our sponsor, Roll20. Thank you for keeping us rolling. We super duper appreciate it. And if you like seeing all the cool rolling stuff that we do over on our side, you know, all these pretty sparkly bits and stuff, that is all through them. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. And of course, we do have Out of Control coming Sunday, October 2nd, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific, right here on twitch.tv/rollforit, for a one-shot with Nerd Burger Craig, who will be playing Code Warriors. It is we get a little sneak peek of it before it comes out, because it will be out on Kickstarter soon, TM. And of course, you can check out our merch at designbyhumans.com/shop/rollforit, where you can represent us. Keep yourself warm with a Roll For It shirt. You know you want one. And of course, you can support us over on our Patreon. That is the best way to support us, because you get cool rewards. If you're a GM tier or above, I left you a little note in Discord. Please help your witch out. There's some cool stuff that will affect. And of course, you can get access to our witches and our familiars info, as well as the new witch, Violet Primrosia, over on our Patreon. And we will have our monthly recap coming, and there are a plethora of other great things over on our Patreon, including the Ascension MP3 and After Show that will be coming out, like, right after this episode. And if you're a Legend tier or above, you will be playing in a private GM'd game for the next couple months that will affect this game live. So, the fate is in your hands. But we know... you know, if you want to support us over here on Twitch, you can subscribe and you get access to cool emotes, the VOD in advance. If you're a YouTube member, you get access to those emotes as well. And whether you're a YouTube member, Twitch subscriber, or Patreon, you get access to our private Discord, where I'm sure we're going to plot and plan over there with you all. And I'm always curious to see what the theories are. I know Werewolf will have some. Your little gears are turning. I see them. Maybe they're not so little. They're big, because size matters, apparently. And of course, there are a lot of non-monetary ways to support us, like watching us live right here on twitch.tv/rollforit, making clips, watching us on YouTube, which this video will be up on YouTube. Subscribe, like, and comment over there, as well as follow us on Twitter. There's always a tweet and Facebook post somewhere. Go tweet and like it and share it and retweet and comment. We usually interact with you back. Sometimes you'll get little, you know, lore bits. Who knows? And with that, we will be ending our episode and recording an after show that will be available on our Patreon. So if you're interested in that goodness, definitely check it out. And
We will see you next week.
toodles.